We're going?
Yeah.
So these are my notes that I'm using for my speech. 2 note cards. Alright. Good to go. Alright. So I know it's really hard to get you guys to stop doing what you're doing, but this actually pertains to what you were doing. So this speech is basically about how video games can be good for your health. So how many of you guys play video games? Yep, everybody. Alright, so how many of you guys think that video games are bad for you? Okay, so maybe there's some different perspectives on what healthy is when it comes to video games. But the truth is that our society, the American society, is living in this day and age, is in a virtual reality, virtual world. Everyone's online more than they are offline. That's just the truth of the matter. So, that in mind, we tend to spend more time online than we do offline. It's just easier to send an email than it is to go out to your mailbox and mail off a letter to your grandma, because I mean it's more efficient, it's just better. So why then does our society look at video games as unhealthy, as being a bad thing to do? You play too many video games. No, I don't. They're good for me. You know? Alright, so basically our society doubts them because it looks at you're sitting there, you're not exercising, it's sedentary lifestyle, it's making you more illiterate because you're not reading a book, which you technically, some games you do read certain information. Mortal Kombat, you know, you're typing in all the buttons, pressing all the, reading the background of the games. Call of Duty, you could be reading all the little commentary at the bottom. So basically, video games are not an overall waste of time. We're going to go into how video games are good for your health, the multiple ways that they are. So first is that they increase your brain activity. You might not know this, but they do. It can increase in a person's ability to learn. And basically, that being said, that a challenging game increases your ability to adapt to the situation. It increases your brain's function of memory and logic. And overall, it increases your problem-solving abilities. And how many of you guys play Mortal Kombat on the campaign? Where it goes from novice to medium to harder. Well, those different difficulty settings, you're getting better at the game, so your brain is adapting. It's learning the tactics of that game. So, video games can also better your reflexes. As most of you know, that's probably the #1 excuse whenever your mom says you've been playing too many video games. Mom, it's good for my hand-eye coordination. So, that is actually true. It is good in your hand-eye coordination. And there was a study done that said that basically video gamers processed information in the same way as non-video gamers did, but they did it faster. So it's actually increasing the ability and the speed that you process information. So that is actually one of the good things about it. Lastly, video games make our brain grow. So there's actually a part of the cortex that deals with higher functioning and visual acuity actually grows thicker during certain games such as Tetris or trivia games, any puzzle type games. And that was a study from ehow.com, brain activity in video games. And it just went to show that, you know, here's how this video game made this specific part of the brain actually grow in thickness. So you can also, if you repeat a game over and over, over time you're learning that game and your brain is learning it, like we talked about with the novice, medium, and harder levels. Your brain is actually adapting to those video games, so it's getting better. Intermission?
I'll put you drinking the other plug.
Okay, Gatorade? Alright.
I'll do that.
Alright, so video games can also make us feel better. Obviously, morale can be improved. You're hanging out with a bunch of buddies, drinking beer, eating popcorn, specifically. Just doing what you like to do. It makes you feel better. I mean, it's an output for stress. It's an outlet for stress. playing a video game, doing something that just makes you pure satisfaction. You're just having a good time. It makes you feel good. How could you not? It's just like playing any other sport. It makes you feel really good. Alright, so it can also take your mind off of pain. If you've got a handicap, people who just got in an accident, they just got out of surgery, they can't do much, so that they're playing video games. That helps them not only get their strength back in their wrists and arms, it just helps them with, I'm just a lazy fat ass, I just got out of surgery, I can't do shit with my life. I'm playing video games, it makes me feel better. So that's another reason why, sorry for the cussing. That's another reason why video games can be good for you. It's also a portal of social acceptance. If you're playing video games, you're hanging out with friends, you're learning the social behavior, you're talking with people, you're communicating effectively. If you're playing online games, you're being able to type to people, and you feel more comfortable because there's no audience there. I know if we're playing like World of Warcraft or StarCraft or anything like that, Star Wars Online, you're playing video games where you can't talk to that person, or maybe you can with a headset, but you're also typing it in. Makes you feel more comfortable, getting in a social behavior to be comfortable around people in general. You don't even think about it. There's like 10 of you playing out here. Some people who aren't comfortable being around people in a setting like that, you're out here doing it all the time. So that's just something to think about. So what have we talked about? We talked about how video games can be good for you in multiple ways, not only in the functionality of it, but also in the social ability of being able to just, cope with your surroundings and the society that we live in. So when you think about it, video games are not such a bad thing. Obviously, too much of anything is a bad thing. That being said, we should play in moderation, not too much. But also something to think about, I know my wife does it to me. The next time your mom, your spouse, or your wife, or your friend says, man, you play too many video games, you're wasting your life, you're not doing crap. Well, guess what? Video games is healthier than not playing video games. That's just something to keep in mind. Alright? That's it.